to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Now today's video is a paid promotion. You can see that pop up on the left hand side there. Now the reason it's a paid promotion because this watch was sent to me by a group called the League of Watches. Now what is the League of Watches? So a few months back someone contacted a few YouTube watch reviewers and decided to add them to this group on Instagram. Now that group, as mentioned, is called the League of Watches, and I am a part of that group. So basically the admin's idea behind this group is he wants to be able to get into touch with micro brands, watch brands, watches from AliExpress, you know, wherever really, and the premise is that those watches get sent to him and then he distributes them to the various watch reviewers. Now to date the watch group has about 20 odd different watch reviewers on there, and it's a really good group in the fact that it's quite diverse and it's quite eclectic in terms of the taste of everybody. So you've got reviewers on there with, you know, a high number of subs, low number of subs. We all look at different things. We are quite different, yet we're reviewing all watches. So, you know, great incentive. So shout out to the group League of Watches. I will leave a link to everyone's channel that's in the group currently within the description below. If I've missed anybody, I do apologize. I know there has been a couple of updates. This is the watch they sent to me, and this is the Escapement Time. So let's go ahead, open it, and let's see which particular watch it is. So this is Escapement Time, the Flieger type watch. I have mentioned this watch myself on a couple of AliExpress sale videos, because even just by the pictures and the reviews, I mean, they've got I don't know, like 400-500 odd orders, a very high rating of like 4.8, 4.9. The price point for this watch is around £70, depending on whether you catch it on a sale or not. And they do have 3 different variants. So they've got, this is the Type A Flieger style watch. They also do a Type B with the 12-hour and the minute track, that style of dial. And they also have now released a Quartz type watch with 2 smaller sub dials at the 3 and 9 o'clock. So I'll leave the link within the description. It's an affiliated AliExpress link. If you get some time, please check it out if you are interested in this watch. Now with the League of Watches, you know, there'll be more watches coming up. I have already received my second watch, and you know, there's more on the way, so exciting times. Now before we go ahead and review the watch, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell so you're up to date with all the latest reviews. Remember to leave a comment within the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on the content and the watch being reviewed. Hit that like button as well. Thoughts and comments are always appreciated. So the diameter of the case is 42.5 mil, thickness 13.5, and you've got a lug to lug of 50 millimeters and a lug width of 20 millimeters. Specifications: you've got a sapphire crystal, flat sapphire crystal with no AR coating, which is, I really like that. And then you've also got a 316L stainless steel case. You've got a Seiko Epson NH35 movement, which hacks and winds. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. It's a 24 joule movement, very solid, robust, and very familiar as well. You've also got 300 meters of water resistance, and you've got a screw down crown. So Escapement Time, the Flieger style watch. What can we say about the watch? Because it's an unboxing, so first impressions, I've only ever seen it in pictures and the review on Honest Watch Reviews. You know what, from first impressions, it is a very solid watch. Now I'm gonna go ahead and say, you know, the Flieger or these kind of pilot watches, they aren't for me. It doesn't suit my personal taste, but of course this isn't about my personal taste, it's about the watch. So in order to give it a fair and honest review, it's important to look at it objectively, rather than subjectively, so which I'll try and do that. Now if you just Google Flieger, if you Google pilot watches, you've got a variety of different styles and shapes, and the authentic one, or going back to the 1940s, you've got a company called Stowa that produced a watch very similar to this. So this is a homage to that, almost identical in the pictures. And the thing is, in order for a watch to be a pilot watch, it does need to have a few key characteristics, primarily one of them being obviously the type of dial and having that triangle at the 12 o'clock, which this Escapement Time does. So straight off the bat, first impressions, Escapement Time have done a really good job in homaging or bringing us that classical pilot watch. Yes, beauty is in simplicity. Now this is a very simple watch, and it has to be that in order for it to be effective. So if a pilot is wearing this, he needs to be able to see the time at a split second without anything distracting him on the dial. So let's first of all have a closer look at the dial indeed. Now the dial finish, it appears to be like an acrylic or an enamel finish. Of course it's not made out of enamel, but you do have this really nice deep black dial. Now you'll also see, of course, there's no applied indices, it's all been printed and loomed, and you've got the numerals that go around the watch face, and you've got printed minute track, and you've got that classical triangle with the 2 dots on either side at the 12 o'clock. Now let's look at the hands as well. Now the hands, usually on pilot watches, they've got this blued style type steel, and you've got that present also on the Escapement Time. Now pay just some close attention to the actual proportions of the watch, the hands. So the hour hand sits right on top of the Arabic numerals. You've got the minute hand that extends all the way to the edge, just to give you the accurate time reading and setting capability. And that seconds hand, of course, again extends to the minute track all the way around the edge. And it's important that these watches, of course, one, are accurate and very legible. So yes, simple but very effective. So I'm not going to have a lot to say about the watch and the dial features, because you know the design of the watch and the purpose of the watch is a very simple yet effective purpose. And let's go ahead, look at the construction of the watch and the finish. So you've got a flat sapphire crystal with no air coating, which is really good because you really can't have that air coating hindering the legibility on the dial. And you've got a full 316L stainless steel construction, and it is fully brushed. So you've got circular brushing on the top bezel, and you've got circular brushing going down to the lug tips. You've also got linear lateral brushing across the case. So the case fully brushed to give you that that real feel that it's a tool watch. The thing with polished sides, etc., we see them on the dive watches a lot, but they do pick up a lot of micro scratches, which, you know, when you've got good visibility on the actual watch case, it does take away slightly because you're constantly worrying about small scratches. But with that brushed finish, it is going to eliminate at least those very light marks that you're going to see. Now with the case back, now this is probably one of the nicest case backs I've seen on watches coming from, you know, AliExpress, and that's because it actually means something. So the case back logo does fit the theme of the watch, and of course it's a fighter jet, really nicely done. And I like the angle of the jet, the way they're showing it, and it gives it a very OEM original look. You've also got the specifications recorded or written around the back. You've got stainless steel, sapphire crystal, waterproof, 300 meters, made in China, Escapement Time and Flieger automatic. Now Escapement Time branding, there's no branding on the watch at all. It looks totally sterile, but again, I think that adds to the appeal of the pilot watch. They're not meant to be overly complicated, even though you can get chronograph complications of, for them, and you can get a real variety of styles and types. However, I'm happy they haven't put any logos on there, because again, really nice, sterile, effective tool pilot watch. Now, one of the nicest standout features, at least to me, was this crown. I love the machining on this crown, the splines, the way they've been done, or the knurling. It's not really knurling, sorry. You've got this almost turbine style construction to the crown, and it looks fantastic in pictures, and it looks fantastic in person as well, and it's really practical. So you get tons of grip, and this is a screw down crown. You can hear that NH35 movement winding. Now they have listed this as having an NH35. Now if it really is an NH35, then it has been modified. The reason I say that is there is no ghost date position. As you know, with the NH35 you have at minimum a date complication, but with this there's no ghost position, so that has been modified and removed. But Seiko Epson do have a totally dateless movement as well, but they've listed as NH35, so let's take it as that. But it does hack, so you can stop the seconds hand and you can set the time, and you can just see how effective that dial is. You can read and see everything very clear. So I like the fact that they've, they could have left a ghost position in there, which really would not have bothered me, but the fact that they took it out shows just a bit of thought going into that process. Looking at the bracelets, now they did in the box include a NATO strap. I don't like NATO straps, I'll put that away. It's got a different style leather strap from Vario, so that's cool as well. But I really do like the strap that this comes on. It's got this tapered leather strap. Lug width is 20 millimeters, of course, so, and you've got a 20 mil strap up to here, and then it tapers down to 18 mil. It's got a decent amount of thickness. It's not too thick and it isn't too thin or flimsy. Contrast stitching and dark brown leather strap, and I think that does suit that vintage appeal. Also, you've got the aviator jackets, which are those sheepskin leather style jackets that pilots wear, so it does fit that package really well. Moving on to just the buckle. Now the buckle is worth mentioning. I normally don't talk about these, but what I find interesting is there's more machining on the buckle than there is present on the case. The case just has a brushed finish, but actually on the buckle you'll see a chamfered edge, a polished chamfered edge, and you also see brushing across the surface. Now you do have a small little pin here. To me that's a bit too thin. It just looks off. I think the buckle is done to such a high finish that that pin there should at least be a bit thicker, so when it sits down you don't have this movement. A very, very small niggle, no doubt, but compared to the watch price, yes, the £70 mark, I think it's a really beautiful watch and a very effective watch that you can purchase. Now the lume applied on this watch is BGW9, and I think everybody watching, you will see, wow, very, very bright. Now let's first have a look at where it is applied. You can see the hour track, the minute track, you can see the hands, even the 12 o'clock indice at the, with the 2 dots either side. You've got that second hand, which is fully loomed to the edge, and you can see just where it touches, so it looks amazing when it is lit up like this. However, I did have to give this a good zap with the UV lamp, and what I found was it wasn't picking up enough lume from the LED lights that I use. Now when I compare it to my current watches, they all pick it up, so the lume on this is quite poor, and I recorded this over 5 minutes, so you can see how it does degrade. But this had to have a full charge using a UV lamp in order for it to look like this, and you can see over the course of the 5 minutes that I did record, it does go down quite a bit. It doesn't fully shut off, but it is only 5 minutes, so longevity on the lume is going to be an issue. So time for a wrist shot. Let's see how this watch looks like on the wrist. Before I do that, quick wrist check. I'm wearing 2 today. I've got the Seiko BFK here. I had to wear this because the battery was running dry, because it's a kinetic movement, got to walk the dog. Then this turtle, I haven't worn this turtle for such a long time, the STO, so I thought pull this out the box and wear that. So escapement time, I've got a 6.5 inch wrist. Let's see how this 50 mil lug to lug 42.5 case sits on that wrist. So straight away, I think the strap, I do like that tapering. I think it fits really nice, comfortable, very light. And the thing with pilot watches, Flieger style watches, they are meant to be slightly bigger, so you will find them quite a lot bigger than 40 mil, to be honest. Some of them go up to 45. And that's like a standard. Because it's a pilot watch, it does need to be visible, so you do find that you have a large case. What's my overall thoughts of this? What I do appreciate from them is how they haven't gotten away with it. They haven't gone too far with this Flieger watch, and I feel this watch will appeal more so because of its purist nature. True fan of these pilot watches will prefer this. What don't I like? To be honest, is, well, the lume, that's the only thing I can think of. They should have applied a lot more layers. The current layers they've got on there is actually insufficient. You put the UV lamp on anything from really poor quality lume, it's gonna shine bright for the first few minutes. So I think the lume is something they should have improved on. They definitely can as well. But another thing which I do like, which they've added, I have kind of glossed over it, is the 300 meters of water resistance. You don't find that typically in a pilot watch because it's not needed. Usually you find them at 50 meters or 100 meters, but 300 meters, it gives this watch that versatility. So it's good to know this watch is spec'd out to meet a whole host of other requirements. Yeah, so I think it's a very nice watch. £70, you can't go wrong, and the fact that it stays true to its roots, that's an added benefit, and one that will be appreciated by those pilot watch lovers. So thank you everybody, thank you to the League of Watches for sending this watch out to the admin, and you'll definitely see more watches that have been sent over to myself. And thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.